So I wrote to, hey, Fred, I see you're on. It's good to hear you. It looks like the storm coming again Tuesday to Tampa, maybe some in Miami due to the winds on the south side of the storm, Tuesday and Wednesday. More of the same weather agenda, but it gets our attention from what is real to the TV story and the falsely created. As such, the storms are targeted mechanisms for both the media and the areas under some restrictions or control agenda zones, which the monopoly corporate wants or creates for us to be concerned of. Like Carolina, which had the Biltmore Village flooded, the former Carolina Rich Playground, I think the Vanderbilts was the family name, but also the mountainside towns, which are vulnerable, especially the poor or the backwoods and those near the lakes and dams. And so now the next and final storm of the season goes to Orlando, most likely targeting Disney, and also Cape Canaveral perhaps as a focus point. And it occurs to me that in my experience, because this is, we've had 3 hurricanes in the last 12 months, and this third one that came through, we escaped by leaving. And even though there was no damage to the house, etc., particularly one screw came off the roof, but we had trees fall in a spectacular fashion, not on top of any buildings or automotive. So nonetheless, what was it I wanted to say about, the former rich playgrounds and the Biltmore. I wrote in my book, Destiny, a part that goes like this. It was written 20 or more years ago now, 23 or 4 years ago. I put it on Amazon and called it Destiny with an apostrophe. And in this part, there was a half-blood Cherokee or what have you, Indian, white / Indian, and hero of the story who found a portal in a dam in the Carolina mountains. And he's like a geologist or something along those lines. And when he went into this portal, he went into the, let's say, the other side, and he met with the Indian tribes, happy hunting grounds. But these happy hunting ground areas were still ruled by the Kalam god and the cause and effect gods or what have you, universe, world. And there was a threat on their side as well as back in the on the physical side, where the local people were getting together, partially to help each other out, but there was more to it because there was an awareness of this portal that was opened up, and mostly opened up through the electromagnetics of the and the lake dam reservoir area, for whatever associated meanings that has. So this particular storm, that there was also a confrontation with this so-called negative entity and a whirlpool of light and or waters in the that the hero, the Indian, half Indian person, half white Indian person, was he was attending to or trying to escape from, saving his girlfriend, and that who he had just met, and this relates to the love idea that was being presented earlier. in that, yes, the book did have these elements of looking for love, and also, though, it had a very, very important part of contact with the group that was singing. And at my time, when I wrote it, 2001, I only knew about Nu, or rather the Hue. And so the characters were all singing, these ones that were aware, including beings from Africa, including those, and Europe, that were coming to California or Arizona or wherever the observatory was, which was being headed by an individual observatory, and like a solar observatory or astronomical outpost. So they were gathering, and that was another part of the Destiny novel that was presenting to me almost everything that was ahead of myself. And so this storm that just came through was very interesting, in the sense that what it did was it came again, third time, right at our house almost. Actually, the next county, if I don't know, the line of sight was very, very tight, and it went almost directly at us. So it doesn't matter so much, except for now I'm looking out over the field of our property, and there's white flowers blooming everywhere. The entire place is filled with flowers. They knocked out my heart-shaped ivy that I had around the tree. That's the central tree in the property in front of our house, where we look out. And that tree got snapped in half. And well, no, actually, that tree fell down. It was snapped in half and came down, and I'm sitting right next to it. It's not totally down, and I can actually pull on the tree and all these limbs. It's actually not an oak tree. It's a cherry tree, I think, is more proper. And they're more easily come down. But in any case, it's split so much that it's almost completely broke off, but there's a thread of the pine, or the holding the tree from falling down. And it's very dangerous to get under, because if you pull on, I found I could pull on it like a swing and it will rock. But if it does fall and it falls on you, I mean, it's curtains, it's super heavy. So it's dangerous, but it's fine. It's benign, just symbolic. Okay, so, but what I had written in the book is part of this storyline, because in the book, after the storm comes and the hero saves the damsel, and they come back, and the storm abates. This huge hurricane was being attracted to the area and was coming to all kinds of damage all over the Carolina, and exactly where I had the book storyline. Fontana Dam is pretty close. That's the place I remembered seeing it. And so what it did was, the storm came from here, went over Florida, went up into Georgia, Atlanta, a big city that's at the northern part of Georgia, had all kinds of water damage, and I don't know what. But the real damage, the most, was the part that went up to Asheville, North Carolina, which is where the Vanderbilts and the rich people have their summer or whatever, their palace of, whatever. And huge amounts of money. I guess I don't forgot what Vanderbilt's made their money on. In any case, and it's just really not. I mean, the real bad damage from this storm was right there, Asheville, North Carolina, and they don't even have roads to get up. 2 hours into the mountains are blocked. Nobody can get up there. And except for, I noticed that there was this guy who had a train of about 100 burros or something like that. He's got all these burros, and Val, gonna smile about that. This guy is taking supplies up to all up there into the mountain roadway or whatever, using the burros to get supplies up to them, which I think is great. And anyway, so that's the story. My story ended with the man and woman, the geologist, and I guess she was a college student or something, that was exploring this cave areas in the North Carolina mountains. So they're just sitting by the lake. It's almost the end of the whole book, and kind of like just being with nature in that way. And that's I guess that's that. If I may, Val, one more. Just read what I wrote to Jeremy, which has a little bit of relation to what was said also. Hi, Jeremy. My father died in 1978 when I was about in my 30s, but my father was 20 years old in the 1920s, and he played chess every day or all the time. He would read books and replay games of the greats like ALLLISSS and other mostly Russian players. And I wish I could remember Velikovsky or something else, another name, very, very good player. And so when we played, my father would never let me win. I would have to beat him, but I never did, as I didn't completely take up the study of chess as he had. And I was into sports games and athletics, golf, basketball, or I created sports games on paper or with cards, which was fun to create. And I learned a lot by creating the games of cards and the systems of play. And because, whatever was being produced wasn't exactly doing what it was that I perhaps wanted the games to do or what have you. And I, was a precursor to computers. So anyway, I understood the reason for the chess play, which is that great game, which involved the 8x8 board and the important, I think they're 8-part pieces or player movements, pawn to king, which represent the situation of man in the lower creation up to the fourth dimension, I would say, mostly, which is thinking ahead and of cause and effect and reactions, or our awareness of using our awareness of possibilities. As I see it, it could be deeper levels, but mostly I see this interaction and the mental level as the level of play and how we adjust to the emotional or causal ways which the physical pieces are interactive interaction with. So it is not so different from writing stories or seeing the dream visions with its operating the awareness and our solar or light body being the active element. So we can best use this to bring ourselves a little further to the point of going beyond it and the recognition of our chess piece positions, but also with the whole or all is purview, giving us the option of freedom or purpose without any agenda, and also to observe this as the relation that we always have, often called relationship in many teachings, psychologies, or real religions, which many need in order to then begin the full recognition of solar isness or all is. At least a temporarily need, but whatever. As best, the words I can use for this is right now. And thank you, Jeremy, for your storytelling. brilliant and wonderful to hear as well. And thank you, Val. We got the burros in motion again. They're out there searching for the real self, the real people, or whatever.
They come in handy, don't they? Yes, those little guys.
Yeah, that's something. Okay.
That's good, Peter. Thank you. That's really
All
good.
right.